28 years ago, the dream I had was of creating a Canadian pharmaceutical company dedicated to dermatology, and that became a reality. Here's how it all started. In 1969, I was 23 years old, living in Quebec City, working in advertising, driving an MGB, and in desperate need of tires. At the garage, a well-dressed man in a late-model car drove in next to my car and instructed the workers to put 4 new tires on his car and throw out the old ones. I looked at his old ones, and they looked pretty good to me, so I went up to him and I asked him what he did for a living. And he said, pharmaceutical sales. My future was revealed. Within 2 months, there I am with a little hair. That's a product we've been working on for some time. Within 2 months, I represented Westwood Pharmaceuticals, a division of Bristol Myers Squibb. And Westwood in those days no longer exists, but it was a premium company, trained their staff extremely well, and I was no exception to that training. They sent me to the University Hospital in Philadelphia to do rounds for 2 weeks with staff and residents. Not sure that would be allowed today. And they taught me the difference between lotions, creams, ointments, and how they interacted with the skin. And within a few years, I was promoted and transferred to Montreal, where I took over their dermatology program for Canada. I left there in 1976 after 7 years and joined a small distribution company out of Montreal called TransCanada Dermapeutics, where I became director of sales. They were doing $350,000 of sales at the time. You have to relate to those dollars. They really meant something. But after 19 years, my mandate was to grow that number. I stayed with them for 9 years and built the sales to $6 million. And during those days, I had an amazing salary to go with it. I was earning $120,000 a year in 1985. I had 2 kids and a home. But I had this desire to build a pharmaceutical company that was Canadian and not a distribution company nor a branch office company. So I decided to leave the security of that big salary, and the choice was gut-wrenching, extremely scary, a lot of sleepless nights. I sold my collection Jaguar sports car, my sailboat, mortgaged the home, and got rid of the dog. I quit my job in 1985, and in May of 1986, Dermtek began life with 4 innovative products built on traditional actives in combination with advanced delivery systems. With research and development in pedal-to-the-metal mode, at least 1 product introduction per year went to market. In 1990, cutting-edge Ombrelle sunscreen was introduced, and quickly it became the reference for sun protection throughout North America. During this time, I visited all dermatologists across Canada, from St. John's to Victoria, and from Nanaimo to Corner Brook. All the while introducing various SKUs. My hairline was receding, so I developed a spray to make it a little easier. Extreme sports were very popular at the time, so we introduced Ombrelle Extreme. We had a children's version, and we kept developing products as well for the various ailments in our other division for psoriasis, inflammation, warts, and acne. In the late 80s, I was fortunate enough to be talking to a prominent dermatologist from Vancouver, Dr. Stuart Madden, and he informed me that a new sun ingredient was available. It was Parsol 1789. By the way, Dr. Stuart Madden is in the audience, and I salute him. Parsol 1789 offered UVA protection to a sunscreen. I realized the importance of UVA because with the two prior companies, they both had sunscreens and they were limited to UVB protection. This made all the difference in the world. So I rushed back to Montreal, got the chemist to start formulating, pulled out all the stops, and started the cycle of sweat, tears, gut-wrenching, sleepless nights all over again. Because formulations can be made, they have to be stable, they have to be waterproof, they have to pass all the tests that one has to pass with sunscreen products. So we did this continually for quite some time, months and months and months on end, and finally Ombrelle was introduced in July of 1990. The name, to name a product is so important, and Ombrelle came to be after much discussion, and we were looking at all kinds of different aspects, how to project the image with the name. Finally, using umbrella, making the U into an O, we realized that ombrelle was actually a sun protection umbrella, probably used by many of your great-grandmothers, and so the name was perfect. I have a very artistic family, and Jonathan mentioned luck. I once gave a talk about luck and basically told everyone that luck was the foundation of my career, but I was certainly lucky to have been born into this family with Paul Lavoie. He developed a company called Taxi Advertising, and he gave us the first look to Dermtek. He created the logo, designed all the early packaging. But when the umbrella graphics were designed, his timing was limited. He was quite busy with his company. The product was on press. And you see the bottle is oval, so the back was printed first. The indications, the counterindications, the company name, that was printed. And when the graphics were to be printed, I had sort of a panic attack and called the printer and told him to hold the presses. I jumped on a plane, met my sister Brenda at the Island Airport here in Toronto. She was in the Ontario College of Art in her last year. And I asked Brenda if she could design a package over the weekend. She did. A beautiful collage, different to anything in the industry. And now we had the formula, we had the package, and we had the name. And together these three were pure magic. Every nickel of revenue went right back into promotion. I got involved with nursery schools, discounting large-size bottles to protect children from sun. We became a sponsor to many Canadian Olympic teams, downhill skiing, acrobatic skiing, swimming, sailing, rowing. We were in Barcelona in 1992 when the rowers won gold, and that slide of Kathleen Heddle and Marnie McBean was an ad that we did for dermatologists, and the caption above is, "Before we won gold, we were wearing umbrella." So we were basically everywhere. The spinnakers I had made because we were sponsors to the sailing team. An interesting story, we were at a meeting in Vancouver at the Point Grey Yacht Club, and I hired a sailboat to come by with a spinnaker just as cocktail hour was announced. The captain was flying by a little too fast, and I called him, told him to start his engine, put it on full reverse to keep the boat a little more in position so we could enjoy the view. In September of 1997, we sold Ombrelle to L'Oreal. An interesting fact is we had started to go into the US. I had hired a director of sales. We had made a presentation to CVS. They had accepted our product. So we were launching into the US market in 1998. L'Oreal called on us in the fall of 1997, and the negotiation took basically one afternoon. Our work with sun protection led us to develop a line of cosmeceutical products to reverse photo damage, which is so evident as people age. The dullness of skin, fine lines, skin discoloration, and we introduced a line of products called Reversa to correct all of this. The future. Cosmetic dermatologists often use before and after pictures to show patients just how their skin has improved. So we sent this postcard out to Canadian dermatologists when my son Michel joined and started calling on dermatologists. Family remains important to Dermtek, with both my children working with me, and researching excellence continues to be our mantra in all aspects of corporate life as we look to the future with confidence. Thank you.